The rain had long since stopped, but I killed some time watching the drops work their way down the fogless window. I twisted a bit in my seat, making sure I had the best view possible of two people who were, with luck, about to break countless promises of devotion in at least one heart that was waiting anxiously at home. I sipped my coffee. It was still hot. That was from Seamus Heffernan's Napalm Hearts. I'm going to send things right over to Seamus, my friend and fellow crime writer.
Hi Tom, Seamus Heffernan here. Thanks very much for having me, and thanks very much for sending these questions along. I will attempt to answer them with the minimum amount of pretentiousness and hopefully offer something borderline interesting. I hope all is well on your end too, man, both in terms of your writer's life and of course your far more important real actual one. Question 1, why do you love books? I worry asking someone like me that question is like asking me, why are your eyes blue? Or why are you obsessed with junk food? Some things are just deeply ingrained part of us, and it's hard to imagine your life without them, or a day without them in some cases. I think for me, books were a really good escape when I was a little kid. I was quite awkward and didn't make friends easily, and books were a great way to kind of distract myself from that as I was growing up. Books remind me very much of a lot of positive memories, both in school and with my dad, who was kind enough to ferry me around to various used bookshops when I was a kid, including afterwards in downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, and indulged me in spending far too much of my allowance on paperbacks and old comic books. And I think that, for anybody, if you can't afford the newest and shiniest toys or the best new video game system, or you don't have endless travel at your disposal as a kid, books are a very good, in some ways, superior substitute. The second question is, what are some of your favorite books? Well, like any crime fiction writer, or hack, depending on who you ask, I must acknowledge some of the greats. I think the Maltese FALCON by Hammett is amazing. Love The Big Sleep by Chandler. Love all the Chandler that I've read, really. I like a lot of modern writers too. I'm a big fan of Douglas Copeland. I'm a big fan of Bret Easton Ellis. I still think that Rules for Traction is probably the best book about the university experience ever written. Right now, I'm reading J.K. Abbott, who is a brilliant, elegant, and yet somehow still savage short story writer. His book, All Things All at Once, I highly recommend. Big sucker for sports books, too. Really enjoying Roger Angel's A Pitcher Story, which is about David Cohn, who is a pitcher with a number of teams, including mine, the New York Yankees, and was one of my favorite players in the 90s. And I'm not necessarily sold totally on the idea that there's a canon, that there are books that we must all read, but in terms of the classics that I always tell people they should check out, you can't go wrong with Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I'd recommend not being an impressionable 18-year-old like I was when reading it. And 1984 by Orwell, I've revisited a couple of times, especially prescient, perhaps considering where we are right now in the political landscape. The final question is, what are you working on now? Well, I'm about halfway through the first draft for the follow-up to Napalm Hearts. It is tentatively called Furious Angels. I don't think there's any chance that's going to be the final title, but you have to call a Word document something when you're saving it, emailing it to yourself. I'm working on a script, a TV script. I want to thank my buddy AJ Devlin in Port Moody, also a crime writer. Check out his book Cobra Clutch right now if you get a chance. AJ has been very generous in his time, giving some feedback and notes. And I'd also like to try and keep working on that work-life balance. I'm at my day job, we're just wrapping up here. I'm gonna go home, get a quick bite to eat, then write for another hour or two, and then try to squeeze in something resembling a normal functioning human life with loved ones and friends. So yeah, I guess that gets back to my original point. There's your writer's life, and then there's your real life, and you gotta work on both. Thanks a lot again, man, and continued success with your own work. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you to Seamus. I'm going to have to say one thing, though. The best novel about university experience is Lynn Cody's Mean Boy. Thank you to Seamus. That was awesome.